Welcome, listeners, and thanks for checking out the Inebri-Art podcast. Before we get into it, I just wanted to mention that we are having a art show at Craft Beer Cellar, where we normally record. It is located on Main Street in Plymouth, Mass., and the art show is called Santa Loves Benjamin. There are 36 pieces from 17 different artists, and every single piece has a $100 price tag on it, so you can get some inexpensive art and give it away for a Christmas present, or just keep it for yourself, whichever you prefer. And that show will hang, well, it's hanging now, we just hung it up a few hours ago, and will hang until the middle of January, until we get the next artist up there. So make sure you stop by the Craft Beer Cellar, purchase your beer, cider, wine, whichever, up there from all the new artists, and Merry Christmas.
So what happened?
That's when you look out the window and go, I ran that fucking fast.
Keys were locked in
My
a car.
wife's keys were locked in the car at the house.
Okay.
Her work is a mile from my house.
Sure.
Which work?
So she works actually where the Hammond School is.
Oh, okay.
So I had to go get her car, bring it to her work, and then I had to walk back to my house in the freezing rain.
Oh, so you left that part out.
Kid, I started to explain it, and I knew it was going to be a big deal. I was like, fuck it, I'd rather walk in the rain.
Oh my God. You never said your wife somehow got to work without a car.
I did.
No, you didn't. You missed that
I
part.
confused you.
Yeah, you totally did, because I'm like, why do you need me to drive you
Yeah,
to
you
your
were like,
house?
you were like, why?
You
And the thing and the why, and I was like, okay,
thing
I'm
and
walking
the
in the rain.
You never said your wife was at work.
Well, you know what? I knew what was going to
And
happen.
none of the rest of that made sense without that.
But then he has the whole ride to onset where he has to listen to it. Why does she lock the keys in the car?
I was like,
Who locks the keys in their car anyways? Why doesn't she have headphones when you just lock the door?
I was like, you know what? Fuck it, I'll walk.
when you left out a lot of key pieces of information that would have got me to give you a ride.
I know that I could have got you there eventually, Kate.
You were just going to say, my wife is not near her car. And that would have been like, okay, you left all that out.
I said she walked to work.
No, you did not. You said, my wife locked her keys in the car. That was the first part of the conversation. I walked away. I came back. And you're like, can you do me a
Perhaps-
favor?
She walked away from the conversation.
Perhaps I was talking to you while you were gone. Hi. Point being, is I knew that it would be more difficult to convince you to help me than it would be to just walk.
You didn't do a very good job explaining that.
No, but I think you made the right choice.
I don't know. Like, he was just... None of it made sense because in my mind I was like, why does he need to ride back to switch cars? Doesn't make any sense.
Not.
A lot of that information was
I will help
missing.
him.
I still love you. Just picking my battles. Picking my battles.
Next time, use more words to explain the situation further. Like, I will have to walk a mile in the rain. Yes, then I would have given you a ride. I'm not that much of an
You
asshole.
would jump out of the car on the way there.
No, trust me. I didn't enjoy it. I enjoy her. Like, we have a good time.
John literally, like, I'm like, wait, I don't understand. And he's like, I don't have time to explain this to you right now. Like, walks away.
I was like, forget it. I'll walk.
Kate, say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yes.
You know,
So-
into the mic.
Well, yeah.
Are you recording all
Of
this?
course we're recording all this.
Oh,
wouldn't
okay,
we be?
good. That's why you kept looking at me real funny.
I see the
You
recording.
can watch the, yeah.
I don't think they're going to use this.
You don't know.
Oh, God. Right?
Totally.
This is why we're doing the Christmas special like this.
Okay.
This is the Christmas special?
This is the Christmas special.
I'm sorry, Boxing Day special.
This is Stop Your War on Christmas.
Look, it's coming out on Boxing Day. It's the Boxing Day special.
Thought we were
If you shooting the shit,
So we were just shooting the shit.
That's all.
that's kind of what we do.
So we figured it'd be a good time to shoot the shit.
Yeah.
I already left out an obvious masturbation joke. But didn't want it to be in there, but now.
Well, it's too late now.
Now I feel like I want it.
Well, if you want to make the masturbation joke now, I can pretend to edit back in and then just run it normally like this. This
Yeah,
is what we
sure.
do.
I'll find other
It's all on
spots for
tape.
it.
It's all gonna end up on the podcast.
It's all going to
Yeah.
be there.
Yeah.
All right.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Kate.
Merry
Cake.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
tomorrow.
Merry Christmas.
So we're here at the New World Tavern. Thanks, Kate.
Thanks,
Hi,
Kate.
On Main Street in Plymouth, and that was Kate, just being Kate. And we are here with basically everybody from Inebri-Art. We got Fish, we got Monsta, John Cardinal. So John,
I like how you used your real name and then just left me hanging.
that is your real name.
That's a fair point.
I'm not calling you research this time, so.
That's
you have a name.
I'm the research department, which usually means I'm Googling shit on my phone.
Because I can't remember
Because
his
he can't
fucking
remember.
name.
Yeah.
So, John, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So, we met John 5-6 years ago?
Longer than that, so.
It might be, yeah. when
6
was
or
it?
7, yeah. How long were you at Fridays before we started doing the drink and draws?
Well, I stopped working on Fridays 3 years ago. So
Yeah.
That's it? Really? It seems like it was
3
longer.
or 4 years.
Yeah. Well, the drink and draws started 5 years ago.
So
So,
well,
6.
so I had 2 years. Plymouth Fridays is a little bit hard to figure out when I was there.
Because you kind of kept like coming and going and changing
I
Friday.
had two tours of duty there.
Yeah.
So I don't remember how long I was there for the second time. I think I was there for 3 years the second time. So I met you about a year into being back there.
yeah.
So that's how we met you,
Yeah.
essentially. Trying to out nerd you, and
How'd that work out for you?
you dropped the mic on us.
Yeah.
And then shortly, like a year or so later, that you suggested that we do a drink and draw on the night that you work, and that was basically the formation of Inebri-Art.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember how it exactly went, but
I was sitting. Honestly, I can tell you exactly where I was sitting. I was sitting, kind of on the with my back to the windows near the taps, and you're like, "We should do a drink and draw." And I'm like, "Great plan." You're like, "I work Thursdays." I'm like, "Okay."
that was all it took.
That was it.
Yeah, it was
like I
real
was
hard.
drinking there anyways.
Yeah. Well, of course, we're only there like 3 nights a week at that point anyway, so why not?
Right.
Let's add a 4th.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And so essentially, I've officially, sort of unofficially, figured that December 2nd is the actual birthday.
Was that the day it popped up on Facebook? Because, hey, you
Well,
remember this photo?
that was like the earliest photo, and that's really
That was
early on.
Yeah, I think that was like one of the first nights.
Right. So.
Say that's probably how you could figure it out.
Right.
Yeah. So it
Whatever,
was,
whatever Thursday, that was a Thursday.
Yeah. So it's,
Yeah.
Research.
well, December 2nd would have been Thursday 5 years ago, because it was definitely a drinker. I just don't know if it was the first drink and draw.
Yeah.
It was damn close.
No one's gonna look that up. So
No,
I'm not going
No one's
full
going to
grammar
argue
on this.
that.
no one cares.
No.
But that's when we
But
started.
that's how we started.
That's how
Yeah.
it started. And that was the beginning of all this.
Yeah, and now
Yeah.
it's kind of spun out of control with a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah.
So, what do you, for our listeners, what do you do for a living?
My day job is I am a graphic designer and an illustrator for Via Bella greeting cards. I design and draw greeting cards, and before you ask me, no, I don't write them.
So, you also have at least 2 comics out now, right? You have The Guys, and you have something else out.
I also, in my spare time,
Which is not much.
draw and illustrate children's books. I'm the editor-in-chief of Triptych Press, and publisher of Triptych Press, and do side work in comic books. The only self-published comic book thing I've done is The Guys, which I need to get back to. I've done a bunch of anthology work with other publishers like Kickbone Press. But lately, it's been mostly doing children's books.
Yeah.
So I just wrapped up 2 this month, actually.
So, how many does that bring total to? 5?
6.
6.
So two that I did all the art chores on,
Yeah.
and the layout and book production, and then 4 that I've done all the color artwork for. Colored someone else's illustration, did all the layout, did all the text layout, did all the book creation, so that brings up to 6. So, and then through Triptych Press, so The Guys have done some of my comic book sketch work, and then we have done 4 volumes of promo, and then we just put out Don Mathias' volume 3 of P. Nizzles, Tribute Press.
What is this?
Don Mathias, P. Nizzles, the daily strip
No, I didn't even know
that he
this.
does. We just put that out. He debuted it at Baltimore Comic Con. He's been working with another publisher for his first 2 volumes. His contract was up. He's signed on with us. We just put out volume 3, and now we're going to put out anything else going forward for him.
Oh, nice.
So,
he's our first.
what is it? Like, what's it about?
I've never
this.
heard of P. Nizzles.
P. Nizzles.
I assume it's like Snoop Dogg meets Peanuts, but if it's not,
I don't want to do
just
it.
kind
I
of
don't
leave
want
it there because I'd rather
You know what?
just go with what's about it.
Look it up, pnizzles.com, but sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I'm assuming it's on crypticpress.com too, right?
We have a link to it, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we're going to be doing a lot more work with him going forward, and that's the start of us expanding our core. So
Yeah.
we've been doing Promo, which is our art magazine for 4 years now, which highlights artists who live and work in New England, and we're going to...
Well, it's not just artists, it's kind of more contemporary artists.
The creative people who are out
Yeah.
there working and doing their thing. Mainly we wanted to focus on people we wanted to change the perception that New England's only beachscapes and seagulls.
There's some lighthouses in there too.
We wanted to get away from that, and we wanted to highlight the people who do work that we enjoy, that is in the vein that we see on a daily basis. And those people that are out there working and doing on the grind, we wanted to, shine a spotlight on them. So it's been photographers, illustrators, painters, sculptors, chocolate sculptor.
And you have a rap group on that too?
That rap group is Our Face, which is featured in Volume 3. They just dropped a new album. We've had DJs, photographers, any type of creative endeavor.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of groups on there. Creative Salem that holds a bunch of events and things like that. We highlighted them, stuff like that. There's a group out of Lynn that works with kids and paint murals and things like that.
Oh, nice.
We're all over the place with that, but we're starting to expand also into our publish more
Other stuff.
other stuff.
Yeah. So you said you want to get back into your self-published comics. Is there going to be another issue of Guys, or?
It's been in the works. I've had the script, all the thumbnails,
Yeah.
things like that. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my 2 Turkey presses myself.
Oh, yeah, Andy Hool
Andy
and
Hool,
Mike
Mike
Crockett. Yep.
So those are my 2 partners in crime in all of those endeavors. So I didn't want to leave that there without mentioning those guys, because without the 3 of us, there would be no Triple Press. So back to the guys. My friend Lawrence Rosales has written this story, and he's been on his ball. He's been on his grind. He got me the work to do, but I got caught up with a bunch of basically things that pay.
Yeah.
So I kind of took precedent for a little while, unfortunately. And while I've got it all thumbnailed out, I just haven't got back to the drawing board on that for some reason.
And it's a little over a year ago, or maybe a year ago, that you submitted your audition pages to Marvel for Moon Knight. Did you ever hear anything back from that, or?
I didn't, and I met with C.B. Spolsky at Boston Comic Con, showed him my work. He's a talent scout for Marvel. Asked me to do test pages. I was in contact with him, and then someone else took his job. And in the meantime, while I did my work and sent in my stuff, that person that had the new job left.
So now it's almost like
I'm like in the third person
Yeah.
email box from the person that left their job like 2 jobs ago. So it's like, and they're always moving.
Yeah.
I pretty much considered it that I got past the first step. I got an audition.
Right.
So I must be doing some things right.
Right.
So, and it also kind of got me thinking about it, because before I kind of resigned myself to the fact that I probably wasn't going to do that kind of work, or at least professional comic book work. But, once they kind of opened the door a little bit, it really made me realize that I did want to do that. So,
if you had your choice, what would be your first pick of comics to work on?
Spider-Man, hands down.
Yeah. So, kind of kicking back to
If it was a major,
that's yeah.
I don't think I would do a team book, but
No.
Spider-Man would be the. If I could draw one page of Spider-Man,
You'd be happy.
I'd be happy. I might submit a fan art or some shit.
Yeah, like a splash page.
Get it
Yeah.
back. Pin up fan letters.
Yeah.
Say I'm like 8.
I'd be like, this is the most talented 8-year-old I've ever seen.
Just write your name in crayon, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So back in 2011, when this whole thing started, to get a little sappy, you were instrumental in me getting back into drawing. Because at that point, I'd been kind of on like a 5, 6, maybe even longer year hiatus from drawings. I was too busy to do it. And with the drink and draw at Fridays, and back then you were encouraging. I was insulting, hurting my feelings, and punching me and stuff like now.
Yes, I punched you
Punched you in a good year.
it's been like a year and a half.
That's what I'm saying. But like back then,
And
you didn't
in his
hit off.
defense, you didn't remember getting hit, so
That's
I don't
true.
think you have any right to complain.
If we get there, we get there. But I don't think he can complain about that.
No.
But
Shit, I'll smack you.
I was actually trying to say something.
Oh,
else.
I'm sorry.
No, fuck you. I'm not saying that.
No, because I have a sappy story back, so you go first.
No, but so you always had like really good insight and was very supportive, and so that was very appreciative. I can't fucking be anywhere near you drawing now because like you get in my head because you draw so fucking fast that I try and keep up.
It's not the fast that gets me. It's the day he decided to go. Of course, he went all Princess Bride, start drawing lefty.
Well, I wasn't even sitting next to him that day.
Yeah, I'm staring at him. He's like doing this. I'm like, that's.
But when we
the
started
wrong
our
way.
live drawing, like I sit next to my buddy and drawing,
And then
he'd be
just-
like, but this is how I do it, and it just
And then you look over and it's a 5-minute pose, and he's done in like 40 seconds, and now he's doing background work, and all of a sudden the model has wings.
Mine looks like a
Why
hunchback.
not?
It's not a competition.
You're only saying
It's not a competition.
It's not a competition,
But I've
mainly
never seen
because-
anyone win more pasties than you.
All right, fair enough. Those were competitions that Dr. Sketchy explained. It's not a competition, man. We're all doing our own thing.
No.
And you know what? And to be honest with you, you brought it up. Like, we did start the Drink and Draw. I did start hanging out with you guys. I was working a couple of jobs that I didn't like. I was working late nights, and I wasn't really drawing then. And it wasn't until we started really doing stuff, and it wasn't until actually when I went to Boston Comic Con and saw you guys set up with the show that I was like, I didn't think I could do that stuff. It was like, I was like, I know these guys. Like, they're doing it. I see what they're doing. Like, and it wasn't until I saw you and I saw Sherpa like set up that I was like, okay, like.
If these chuckleheads can do this,
it's like shit. They'll take anyone.
So it just never even dawned on me that I could be like.
are they in the special ed aisle?
It's like what, they charge them double? Sure.
No, but I didn't even know that like that was the thing. And you guys had the confidence. You guys had the you had the experience and stuff like that. And you guys, from seeing that, talking to you guys, that's what really got me into it more full swing. That and the 4 and 11 o'clock comics. That also was instrumental in like they had a monthly theme for a sketchbook, and that's what got me like. At that time I was working a lot. I was working real late, so like I got in like a drawing a month.
Yeah,
and that's how it started. And then I started hanging with you guys more, and it was more, and it was like then I was doing like 3 and 4 things for the month, and 4 and 5 things, and then I did like a Star Wars month.
It absolutely steamrolls. I mean, that's part of the thing with Inebri-Art, and even at the beginning of the summer is like when I got that lobster piece, and then I got a gig working with bench warmer cards, and then it just like then I got a commission, and it's just like it all kind of like once you get the ball rolling, it just seems to kind of take on a life of itself.
Well, absolutely. I think there's opportunities to do a lot of things. It's not until you're looking for them that you actually they will come to you. Or not, you're not at this point. You're probably not even looking for them, and they still come to you. But you because people see that you're out there doing stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like, my children's book work, I never was going to do any children's book work. I was doing comic book work. I was trying to get work doing that. I was doing illustration work. And, like, an ex-girlfriend of my friends, like, saw me posting stuff on Facebook, and she knew somebody who was an established writer who needed an illustrator on a project.
Yeah.
And she contacted me, like, out of the clear blue because I was posting stuff on Facebook.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even anything remotely like children's book stuff. It was Spider-Man, Captain America, and shit, and things we were doing in Drinking
It was like that trading card thing. It's like, I must have sent someone an email at some point and fucking forgot about it. And then this guy contacts me, and he's like, oh, I got your email from so-and-so. I'm like, I don't know who that is. And he's like, I really like your website. I'm like, what website are you talking about? And he gave me a link, and I forgot my stuff was even on that site. So it's weird how it just kind of comes out of nowhere sometimes. That happens sometimes. Last time we were recording here, the owner walks in, he's like, rah, 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 the caller recording. Oh shit!
Turns around.
Yeah.
It's like, I didn't know. It's like, yeah, that's fine, whatever.
It's like that. Like, you get opportunities for things like that. And now you can probably have the opportunity to pick and choose some of the things you want to work on, which is great.
I'd choose anything they pay me for at this point.
As do I.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that want you to do stuff for free, and that's like...
Right, yeah.
That's cool and all in the beginning when you're looking for things to do.
Right.
When you're busy, like you...
When you don't feel the need to have to, like, make... kind of like, oh, this is my calling card thing that I have. You're kind of like, well, I've done this, I've done that.
Right, and like I said, I have a job where I do stuff for a living, where I do get to draw and I do get to design on a regular basis, so it's not that. So I do have some of the...
So that monster is the meaning of life.
I used to play a joke like that.
Thank God that we got that on tape.
When I was working as a waiter back in the day, you never saw it. You run into people intermittently.
Yeah.
So we'd come in and say the end of jokes that we never said. So we'd walk in and be like, then I walked in and she had 6 tuning forks and an orange. And just to be like, we just do it all day.
Yeah.
So just more ridiculous things. You'd be like, I really want to know the first part of that joke.
That totally happened to me. I used to work at the phone company. This was ages ago. And I was a zero operator. So when you dial 0 on a payphone, back in the payphones. Huh?
I don't know.
No, there's 411 operators.
See, the 411 is when you need info. 0 is when you just call for help.
Back in the day when they had 411 and 0 and payphones.
Like ghetto 911?
Yeah. See, for those of you listening,
to make a collect call, people would dial 0.
Andy is again pointing out how old he is because he worked for the phone company back
when latchkey kids would get home from school, they would dial 0 for shits and giggles, apparently.
Yes.
And so this is back when the internet was like DARPA and...
There was no
internet. There was no internet back then.
You're not old enough for there to have no internet back then.
So...
we are.
Yeah. That's why it was darker. It's been around since like the 50s.
You're such a nerd.
No. What you keep around for.
So one of the normal things is like at fucking 2:30 every day, your call volume would spike because every kid would get out of school and turn a ticket with the operator. So it was a super fun job.
Back when Andy... Yeah, but the important thing is people actually want to talk to Andy at that point.
So this one day, this kid calls up, and he's like, operator, why couldn't they play cards on Noah's Ark? And I'm like, do you want to make a call? And he kept asking the question like, listen, dude, if you're not going to make a call, I got to hang up. So I disconnected the call, and then for the rest of the day, I'm like, fuck, why couldn't they play cards on Noah's Ark?
To this day.
I have no idea. So if any of our listeners know the joke, please.
I'm sorry, do you want me to look it up? I'll look it up for you.
No, I feel like that's cheating.
That's fine.
So if any of our listeners know the joke, feel free to email Inebri-Art@yahoo.com. It's only been 20.
It's got to be something about like everyone salt hairs.
I was thinking like the elephant was sitting on the deck or something. I don't really know.
It's awful.
Don't look it up and like tell me that you know the answer because that's just gonna make it fucking worse. All right.
I don't know the answer.
Just tell them that you know the answer and then don't tell them what it is.
Although a very common thing is people call up and ask you what time it is. Some kid calls up and oh shit, I don't remember this exactly. I'm gonna talk about the story. Never mind. He did a rock impression and it came out of nowhere. That was a terrible story.
I do wish.
Can you edit that out?
No, that's all right.
Wait, can I? Yes. Well, I no.
That was horrible.
I do remember, like, I miss prank calls, like, when you used to be able to do them.
Yeah,
But
and no one would know who you were.
Yeah, they couldn't tell who called them. They weren't, like, coming up on your phone. You couldn't call them back. There was none of that shit. And I remember I was 8 or 9 years old. The phone rang. It was like corded phones back then and shit. So I ran down there and answered the phone.
It's Louis C.K.'s. It was the phone, not my phone.
Oh yeah, it was the phone. And I remember I answered it, and the dude was like, "Hello," and I was like, "Hello." He's like, "Can you handle 9 inches?" And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Can you handle 9 inches?" I was like, "I don't know, Mom. Can I handle 9 inches?" She's like, "Hang up the phone."
But he's asking me a question.
I was like, "Son of a bitch."
Fucking awesome.
And I'm like, "Fuck that guy." Like,
that's great.
they're like, "No, I'm 9."
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so I miss those days.
Yeah. And I'd never pranked the operator before that. Never made it.
I didn't even know there was a fucking zero operator.
Seriously?
It hasn't been for a long time.
No. And I didn't even have the push button phone. My shit was rotary.
Yeah, there's a zero.
Yeah.
Down 0. Hello,
Remember that
operator.
shit? Yeah. And then you mess up. And it's like, it sucks. Like, oh.
You see the last number and their phone number be 0, you'd be like, fuck that guy.
Yeah. I'm like, oh man. I was like, yeah, that was the worst.
When I worked there, though, we used to get calls all the time. People at hotels would dial 0 and think they're getting the front desk.
Why wouldn't they be?
But sometimes it did and sometimes it didn't. And we kind of got... We would get
the world's more fun that
we
way.
would get monitored once a month. So once you kind of had your time with the boss, you were free.
Yeah.
So my buddy next to me gets one of those people, and they're like, "There's no towels in my room," and he's like, "I'm so sorry. Please feel free to order something off the pay-per-view complimentary at the hotel." And I'm looking at him like, "What are you fucking doing?"
Wow.
Yeah, you had to amuse yourself somehow.
Yeah, that's true. Never had a job like that. Did work at McDonald's. That was kind of a shitty job. I
Must have been you were 16 or something.
Yep, I worked in the grill. I was a grill closer, so I made big money.
wait, I'm old because I'm a 0 operator. There's grills at McDonald's.
Always grills.
Yeah.
Grill.
Not like a propane.
You had to be 16 to work
They were
there.
clamshell grills. They're flat like griddles. They close and they cook both sides at the same time.
Oh,
that
they're
was a grill closer.
They're
which
George
means-
Foreman grills.
before they existed. And I worked and I closed the restaurant. So to the end of the night, and then I closed and cleaned up. So I made big money. I made $487. It was awesome.
Wow, dude, I don't even thinking about how much I made in my first job.
Yeah, I made it was big money. That wasn't my first job.
Yeah.
My first job was I had to. This is how you call it. I worked at a recycling place for cans.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't a thing where you could just shove shit.
Oh, right. So you had to count them?
I had to count them all.
Yeah.
I was 14 years old working at a liquor store, which is a great place to work. 7 o'clock in the morning, there's 25 people waiting outside, it's a fucking food bank.
Yeah.
You know, dude, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. You really need your booze right now.
My first job was at Stop and Shop. Not only did we have to count bottles by hand like that, but we also sold beer and wine.
There you go.
That was fucked up. And then if you weren't old enough, you couldn't bring in the wine.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have to ring anything. I just had to count shit, give people a slip, and they'd go next door. But working at McDonald's, I was a grill closer. But talking about fucking around, I did get to work the drive-thru a little bit. That was the height of MTV's Beavis and Butthead.
Oh, yeah. Which I'm sure speaker technology back then was so great. They're like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, hell. And they were like, All right, none of that shit. Back in the grill. All right, fine. Okay.
Put him somewhere where he doesn't talk to people.
Yeah. You can do that. Just do that in the back where no one can hear you.
Just do that to the grill.
Yes.
See you saying the Lucky Brown shirt like up over your head.
It's an upset.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty ridiculous job. I'm glad I don't work. And I didn't get out of the food service industry until like 3 years ago.
Jealous.
That took a long time.
Actually, I saw a story about you the other day. Who was I talking to?
Oh, I hope it's a good one.
You
are recording it.
I thought it was really funny.
Alright.
It might be
funny.
Oh, actually, it involved you, but you were just kind of the bystander in the story.
Okay, fair enough. I never the bystander. Thanks, that was nice.
Oh, was
Yeah.
it?
So we were
That's not bad either.
we were Fridays one day, and John comes over laughing his ass off. And I'm like, "What's so funny?" He's like, "Oh, these two dudes sitting on the other side of the bar." One of them's like, "What should I have to drink?" And John was like, "I can make you a Pearl Harbor." And the guy's like, "Oh, well, give me bomb like Pearl Harbor." And his buddy turns, "Dude, too soon."
That was funny.
That was fucking
I would never
hysterical.
forget that. That was funny.
And then there was the day that. So John, how many times did you win the bartender Olympics at Fridays?
3 or 4.
So for our listeners who don't know, the bartender Olympics is like the movie Cocktail, but flipping the bottles and shit. But most of the people are not good.
Which is why it's so much fun.
Right. But John is so good, and we got so used to seeing it, like, people would start applauding, and we'd be like, what's everyone clapping at? And be like, you didn't see that? And you're like, oh, you're doing shit again?
It's like, that's nothing. So we decided that we had one goal. We wanted to see him flare with fire because, well,
That was a good day.
that was a great day.
I did it.
I know.
So you stuffed paper towels into, like, the metal drink mixer, set it on fire, flipped it around a little bit. It got hot, you dropped it, which makes sense. And then the place fucking filled with smoke, and the manager comes out, what is going on? And John's response is, well, if you think I was playing with fire, you'd be wrong.
To which he said, what was it, like, don't burn the place
It
down,
was
just
don't
turn
burn
around
the
and tap
restaurant
down.
Yeah. That was a fun place.
That was a fun place. They're kind of a little bit of a pain in the ass, but depending on who was working.
Yeah, but
Yeah, man.
once you start flipping fire around, it's like, yeah, you're fine.
What are you gonna say?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever got shut off there.
No.
Probably should have been shut off there a few
You
times.
should have shut off when you went to go watch me at the next round of the bartender. Olympics.
Oh, that-
Down at
yeah.
Seacon.
What?
But that was Seacon. That was different.
He didn't have to get shut off. I was driving. No, I should have got shut off.
You're still supposed to shut them off.
I won't get into it because there might be a statute of limitations. But I have visual proof
look.
that you should not.
The number of bars I've not been shut off at is depressing.
Yeah, listen.
I think the closest I ever
wish-
came to getting shut off was Natalie.
I should have
See,
shut
that's
you
the
off
thing.
plenty.
She shut me off once.
Did she?
Not at Fridays.
Oh, that's right. That was at San Diego.
She shut me off at a place she wasn't working.
Oh, we all
I got shut off.
This is what
I've
happened.
only been shut off twice in
Yeah.
my life, and once was at breakfast.
Okay, so that's a story. Go on.
Was
Well,
he
no.
ready?
That was we're gonna drink all night and then get up in the morning and go out to breakfast. And they were like, and you know, and you definitely know this, but when you go in to order like your first beer,
Yeah.
like everything's cool. Like you're like, I can get through this. So there's like 8 of us. We're like, oh, that beer, blah blah blah. Then we order food, and then you like let it down,
Yeah.
which everybody knows. So then all of a sudden we're like, blah. So we order the second round. Third round comes around. She's like, no. It's like, I don't know where you've been. We're like, we haven't been anywhere. This is the first place we've been today. She's like, nope. She's like, sorry. And I'm like, we just get shut off at breakfast? They're like, yes.
I remember there was one time I was there, and I remember there was like 3 or 4 chicks sitting next to me. Like, you were attending a bar, and we were both talking to them. I think it was the day that you made me go inside the bar to draw them for some reason. I don't remember
I'm
that.
sorry, I got bored.
But you mixed a shot that was kind of the color of tar, and put it kind of near me, but not in front of me.
Oh, yeah.
And I did the shot assuming you gave the shot to me, and you came back over and you're like, where's that shot? And I'm like, I drank it. Oh, you better go walk around Walmart for a little while.
It's no lie.
It was not tasty.
No. Well, actually, that was one of my favorite things as a bartender is the whole, I'm 21, make me a shot. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you don't
This is going to be fucking disgusting.
Yeah, I've never seen you make a shot that I didn't slightly regret drinking.
Well, listen, if you pay... Well, alright, I don't work there anymore. So. Alright, if you were paying for the shot,
Oh, fine, yeah.
you would get something nice.
Oh, no, I'm
If
not
it was
playing.
free, that shit was disgusting.
No, I mean, let's be honest.
I'm like, listen, nothing goes good with gin. I was like, what can I put with this gin? Let's put some tequila,
Some
some
rum.
Metaxa, Campari.
Ooh, little Frangelico.
Let's put a little Tabasco. I'm like, maybe some peppermint extract.
You ever seen like the like old Warner Brothers cartoons where like they add the last ingredient and it's like a it like floats up like a skull? It's like that shit.
Yeah, I used to have a drink called Brockton Tap Water. That was a favorite of mine. And then the Nasty was the other one, which is Metaxa, Campari, peppermint, Tabasco.
I do not know what the first two of those are.
I don't either.
Metaxa is a like a Greek whiskey type of thing.
It's Greek, yeah.
Is it whiskey, I believe?
No, it's cordial. It's like,
Need backup on this.
Sorry, can you
Long
speak
time.
directly into the mic?
anisette, like, it's
We
got all
fired
that
our
whole,
research
like-
department.
It's terrible, but it's not like hookah or anything like that.
It's close, though.
It's been a long time. It's gross.
Sambuca tastes like black licorice.
Yeah, it's got a
Is that what it
licorice.
tastes like?
It's definitely got a
Research.
licorice. It's got a mixture of, like, licorice and...
If you're gonna talk, come closer.
Huh? Okay.
Yeah, get over here.
Sorry, you talking about
No,
alcohol?
No, have a seat.
No, I phoned a friend.
Yeah.
It's a Greek liqueur based on brandy with wine and flavorings.
Alright, it's fucking gross. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah,
So
for a drink.
for our
Look
listeners,
up Campari right now.
For our listeners, the added voice is Broomhilda. She's a street walker here in Plymouth. Just happy about it. No, it is our good friend Jess.
I mentioned booze 3 times. It showed up.
I said tequila, gin, and Jameson, and poof, there she was. Be like, hey, someone call me?
It's alcoholic liqueur considered an aperitif, obtained herbs and fruit and alcohol and
Alright,
water.
So here's
I assume it's goddamn. That does not sound like something that goes
so
well with
here's
the last
what's
thing.
the magic of this. Campari has the worst before taste of any booze in the world.
Okay.
Metaxa has the worst aftertaste.
So you
There's
mix it
where the
together.
magic comes in. You take those two things, peppermint extract, just to fucking fool you, and then
You're like, oh, it smells like
Tabasco.
peppermint.
So that fucks up the middle.
Yeah.
So now you fucked up the beginning, you fucked up the end, and the middle's a mess.
Oh, it's
So-
like Twilight.
Exactly. So
Yeah, but
it
on
makes
purpose.
a spectacular drink that you can give to any 21-year-old or anybody who's like right on the edge of not feeling well. You're like, I need a shot. Or like that was my favorite. Like I'm 21 at midnight. Like, all right,
I'm gonna
okay.
ruin your day.
Guess what? Welcome to alcohol.
So that's the thing. You do that first, everything else you drink is going to be uphill.
That's true. The first beer
It's
I bought,
like you bottom out real fucking
I
hard.
bought a Foster's Bitter oil can.
This was my first beer.
I don't even know what my first beer was.
I think it was in a
You had to
bottle,
have
right?
I had to have
baby
a
bottle.
podium.
It was probably no. Fucking, that was a kid's cup, not a baby bottle. Go fuck
A
yourself.
whiskey sippy.
No, I was sitting at the bar one day, and I wasn't even drunk, but like for some reason my hand just went nope, and I dropped the glass, and it fucking shattered.
You know the fucking rules.
The glass, dude. Did I object at all?
You went kid cup after
Yeah.
that.
So for the rest of the night, I had to drink out of a kid cup.
That's what happens. You break the glass, you move the plastic.
I deserved it. I'm not arguing. I just
Be
don't.
happy I didn't have any fucking umbrellas.
I just
That
don't
was my next
understand
move.
why.
That would be my core move.
Well, when we saw Chrissy, Chrissy's another bartender friend of ours, and we from back in the day. She's like, I need to order something pink, just cause.
It's the principle of the matter.
This
Is
is my girl.
yeah,
Never got along better with anybody.
Oh, she's
Bartender.
great.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I love all the people that I work with, but we just got along to peas and pod.
Yeah. Everybody else.
And we were
Yeah.
enough chill
Yeah.
that we could be chill together.
Yeah.
Other people ran circles around me.
But
Christine and
your thing was always like, you'd get put on with two hot chicks, and you'd be like, I'll do service bar, you girls go earn us some tips.
like, listen,
Lift stuff up.
Yeah.
if like a 6-year-old woman rolls in, I'm gonna go do it.
I'm sorry, did you say a 6-year-old
Wasn't
woman?
there something? No.
60.
Okay.
Wasn't there something about lesbians or something that you? Oh God, I wish you could remember that
Get
story.
me in trouble.
Probably.
That's a gay fan base.
I feel like there's a really funny story about that. I don't know what. I will remember it someday.
Oh, I do know what you're. Oh, well, never mind. I think I know what you're talking about, but we can't get that right now. Well, we'll jog memories later.
Oh no, was you saying something super loud?
I did say something really loud, and they were.
And then you
within
were
earshot.
like, "Oh."
I said something inappropriate.
Something about someone going to jail.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly what it was.
Yeah.
We don't need to work this out right now. Honestly, if this is not recorded, that'd be cool.
Look, if you're real lucky, it might not make the editing process, but you know,
I can
make no
I can
promises.
deflect to tell you a funny story about Sherville.
Yeah.
So we were hanging out. He came to visit me on Father's Day, and I was working at the restaurant.
Yeah.
And I got off a little bit early. And he's like, yeah, it's Father's Day, let's go get a drink. So we went next door. We went over to Chili's, and there was like nobody there. And it was me and Trevor, we were sitting at the bar with this girl. And we're, talking about being dads and Father's Day and whatever. And the girl was like, yeah, Father's Day is really hard for me. And Trevor was like, what? You don't have no kids. What's Father's Day? Da, 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 blah, blah, blah. Like, just act a damn fool. And the girl turns around and she's like, I lost my dad like 2 months ago. That kid turned white shut for the rest of the time. And then she walked away and I was like, damn. I was like,
Did you stay or did you leave?
we stayed for like the end of our drinks. I was like, we need to go. So forever I'll be like, yo man, Father's Day's not for you. So anyway, you gotta know who you're around.
Yeah, you just reminded me of like the one day where I'm like, I have to go like right now. I went to a place in Middleborough. I've been there a ton of times, and I was there with Nancy. We're sitting out on the patio, having a nice time, eating dinner and whatnot. I'm like, I gotta hit the bathroom. So I go and I open the door. Oh, they fucking remodeled. This is weird. That's unusual. Usually they put a urinal in the men's room. Fucking didn't even think. Did my thing, washed my hands, put my hands on the hand dryer. There's like blue light kicks on. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Blue light. And the door opens and someone like moves behind me. And so you just kind of like instinctively turn. And then over my shoulder there's this woman standing there. I'm like, fuck, I'm in the wrong one.
Well, similar story happened to me when I was at the grocery store with my kids.
Yeah.
I was there with my son. He's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. And he was like 5 years old.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, bathroom's right up there around the corner. So he runs, boom, 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 runs in the bathroom, and then come around. It's like Stop and Shop and come in. I see where he went. I walked in. I'm standing at the sink. And kids have like no bathroom agenda.
Oh, yeah.
So he's like, of course he has to like take a shit at the grocery store. So I'm standing in the bathroom. I'm like, I can't go shopping. I can't leave. And I'm just standing there. My cart's out off the side. I'm standing there. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's doing his thing. I'm like, oh man. I was like, make sure you wipe good. And I'm talking to him. I'm doing all this shit. And I'm like, all right, come on, man. And then door opens and a woman walks out of the stall. And I'm like, fuck! I'm standing in the women's room giving like wipe instructions to my son. And this woman was sitting in there like, do I get up? like,
I can't sit here all day.
I was like, damn. I was like, alright. And then I'm just like, I'm gonna stand outside now. And then my son comes out, I was like, oh, so now I know where the women's room is. But you did remind me of another story that I don't know if I shared this one with you, and this should make your top 10 podcast moments.
Okay, great.
All right.
It's like a Christmas come early.
Yeah. Happy Boxing Day, everyone.
If I can stop the war at Christmas.
So I don't know if I told you this story or not, but I used to live up in Framingham. That's where I started my Fridays career. But we used to go out all the time to bars, and there was a place called the Tin Alley, which was a dive bar, a really bad dive bar over near Framingham State. So we went over there because beer was like $2 for like talls and shit like that. So we're there. Food was gross. Beer is cheap. Hanging out there eating food, and then I got like a gurgle in my belly, and I'm like, oh man, this is not good. I'm like, I kind of think I need to go to the bathroom. I'm like, all right. I was like, but I don't want to go here. Like, I don't want to go out in public. I don't want to go here. And I was about 10 minutes from my house. So I was like, damn. So like, you know, like eventually I was like, I'm glad I chose to tell the story in front of you, by the way. So we're going to be closer after this. So I go into the bathroom, and it's such a dive bar, there's not even doors on the stalls. And I'm like, well, fuck it, I can't do that.
Those are always fun.
I'm like, I can't do that. So I'm like, forget it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I go out there, I'm like, tell my wife, I'm like, I gotta go home.
Yeah.
Use the bathroom. I'll be back in like a little while. So I go drive home, and it was like a Sunday night, and on the way home, there was Stop Shop again. So it was like really late on a Sunday night, and I used to shop there all the time, so I know it was pretty dead.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll go use the bathroom at Stop Shop. Nobody would fucking be there. It'd be great. So it's about halfway between my house and the bar, and I'm like, I'm fine. I'm gonna go use this bathroom at Stop Shop. So I go. And I'm like, all right, you have to make it to the back of the store. By then, it's pretty urgent at this point. So I go in, nobody's there. So I'm like, I'm gonna rock this handicap stall, like, because that way, this is great. I got the whole place to myself. It's like my own apartment. Way over in the corner, and the way it is, it's like a room, and like way over in the corner, there's like room for days on the side of me, and then the other stalls. Yeah. So I'm in there doing my business, and I'm like, and then someone comes in. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me! Like, somebody's in here now. So they come in and they sit down. I'm like, well, fucking all rules are off now. Right. So we're all doing this. We're doing this. Believe it or not, I'm taming this down for you. So he sits down over there, and I'm sitting down over here, and I'm like, all right, I just need to get this done and then get the fuck out of here. So I'm sitting there, and the dude starts making fucking weird noises. And like, not like pooping noises, like grunting a little bit, but like, I'm like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I have a strict no talking bathroom policy.
Well, that's a very valid policy.
So I'm like, but I'm sitting over there like, what is this motherfucker doing? Like, and I'm sitting there.
Does he know someone's here?
And I'm like slowly trying to like wipe and get out of there. And like, he's like, what is going on over there? And then I saw it. Shit starts hitting the floor. But not shit. Stuff starts hitting the floor.
Oh no.
Dude was jerking off in the stall next to me.
Oh.
So I wipe out, walk out as fast as possible. And I run up
your
back.
hands.
No.
I don't know. Like, I can pretend to you now, but listen, I got the fuck out. And I got about 2 hours away, and I stopped. And then I had a fucking conundrum. I was like, do I stop and see who comes out? Or can I live? I was like, maybe it's better I don't know. I was like, I don't want to know. So I sat there for about a minute and a half, but I was like, teetering on the edge.
Like, the horrible thing would be like if you waited and saw and was like, oh god, I know him.
See, that's kind of what ran through my head. Right. And I was like, he knows I was in there.
Yeah.
Like, what if he now he knows it's me? And like, he's like, I gotta kill that one. So I'm like, I gotta go. Like, so I leave there, and I'm like, oh fuck. And I go, and I'm like, I should go home. I should go back to the bar. I don't even know what to do with my life, right? So I drive back to the bar, and I sit down. And I'm like, why does it go? So I'm like, you don't feel, what's the matter? You don't feel good? And I was like, you won't believe this. I was like, I would stop and shop. And the man jerked off next to me. And they were like, I was like, I should have just pooped in the one with no stall door.
Because at least at that point, if you walked in, we'd be like, well, I'll go later.
I would have been like, occupied. I was like, damn it. I was like, so now I don't poop at Stop Shop. Really, that's what it comes down to.
Valid reason. I was on my honeymoon. I love how now it's all just stories about the bath. What's your podcast about? Let me tell you. So I was on my honeymoon, and we were on a cruise ship. We went to the magic show. And so, like, the magic show gets out, and there's a bathroom immediately to the left. So everyone in the show is now headed to the bathroom. And I was happy we were one of the first people in. So there's like that guy rule. So if there's 3 urinals and there's someone in the first one, you go to the last one. You don't take the middle one.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's so full that some other dude came into the middle one. Some dude's in the stall, and I finished my business. And I turned, I realized the only way for me to leave is to squeeze. Like, literally had to, like, rub up against the guy in the third one. I'm like, oh, this is not fucking good. I'm like, come on, dude, let's go. Let's go. Oh, it's like the worst design I've ever seen. It's horrible.
Who ejaculated? I didn't follow my story.
I didn't say it was better than your story.
Oh, one time you rubbed up a guy in the bathroom?
Well, he was peeing. You're an
Couldn't
animal.
sway.
We just went to the King Richard's Fair and I did the same thing, but the 3 dudes were dressed as wizards. So, and my son went in after me
You
and he
said
was
it wasn't
like,
a competition.
hey, well,
Why does my story have to be
I
better?
said drawing's not a competition.
No, idiot. Between the two, it's not a competition. He's kicking their ass.
There was 2 other guys jerking off in the urinals, and like one guy with no pants.
Alright, fair enough. Sorry, you can't follow it up with that. I would have told another story, but I thought you were going to come up with that.
Asshole. I don't even know why I talked to you.
I know.
Let's get Monsta on the podcast. This is great.
This would be great.
Fish, Fish, tell a story so he can make fun of you now.
The fuck do I have fun? I don't have no. I don't have good stories.
Oh.
He's got good stuff.
Fish just go to the bathroom.
Never been in a public.
You don't have a poop story, Fish.
I legitimately have never had a situation where me going to the bathroom has ended up that badly.
It's a fucking lie.
No, seriously. No.
You're old enough and done enough dumb shit and drank enough that something bad happened.
Fine. If it does, I don't fucking remember it, so...
That could be valid.
I mean, I'm
You know
not
what?
going to
No,
put
it
you
isn't.
on the spot, but
I
you know
have
damn well bad shit's happened.
seriously, I got nothing.
There's
nothing.
stuff that you feel like, yeah, that was pretty questionable.
No. And a coworker keep turning her car headlights on me while I was trying to take a leak against the wall, but that's not really the same thing.
See, that was worse than my story.
Yeah. That's why I
When
didn't
I
say
worked back at the newspaper, they had a stall where like the stalls were really high.
Yeah.
And like I worked at night, and like I worked a lot, so sometimes you have to go to the bathroom at work. So, but if you went to the last stall, there were those motion lights. But if you were in there too long, the fucking lights turned off.
So fucking then, like, you're waving your arms, trying to get the fucking lights back
But
on.
that's the thing, you gotta stay there with the fucking lights on. But then the worst part is if somebody comes in with the lights are off, they turn on, you're like, and they're like, are you sitting here in the dark? No, I've been here too long. Like,
My legs are asleep.
I did not feel like getting up and waving my arm. It's like,
Just throwing a ball of toilet paper under the air trying to fucking
exactly.
turn the light
I'm
on.
like, who designed this fucking place? Like, sitting here in the dark. Just give me a fucking switch. Is this how blind people wipe? This is bullshit.
Oh, that's terrible.
I'm glad I brought this down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that
we started off pretty legit.
I listened to a bunch of
Yeah.
episodes. You have not talked about any of this stuff.
No, we've not gotten to poo-poos yet.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's Christmas. It's a Christmas miracle.
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
No, it's great.
It's wherever it goes, man.
Yeah.
But you haven't heard the one we had with stand-up comedian where it's like 15 minutes of like, so tell me about yourself, and then like 45 minutes of her just like insulting the shit out of me.
It was,
Oh, it's
yeah,
great.
it was great.
Oh, it was fantastic. It ended like that. It was great.
I'm just sitting there, it's like, okay, he can't fight back.
Yeah, she's mean. I didn't
I
cry.
want to hear that one.
It's like you watch the nature documentaries and see this, like, crippled gazelle.
Oh yeah, I was the fucking gazelle kind of limping along.
She just bled into you. Huh?
Take it
Pretty
down.
much, yeah. That's
I
pretty
just moved to the bump. That bumped up in the podcast too.
Yeah. Give it a couple
Yeah,
weeks.
it was
I
fun.
gotta,
It was a good time.
yeah, I gotta edit
We'll
it
have her
first.
back.
Yeah.
So this was interesting, and so to steer it sort of back to a realm where it belongs. If
Oh,
someone,
wait a minute. If you really wanted to do tell the meaning of life right now. We'll cut it back in.
dude, I already fucking if you didn't listen the first time,
Listen, I wrote it down, but I don't know if they heard it.
that's their problem. They'll have to keep listening to further podcasts.
Yeah.
So now that you've told all those wonderful stories, where can people find the children's books you work on?
Sure, it happens.
You should ask me another question, which is why do I go by Monsta?
You know, that's an excellent question because I tell the story of like why fish is fish and why sherbet is sherbet. And people are like, well, why is Monsta Monsta? I go, I have no fucking idea.
Well, this will help you out.
Because he said so, and we just
He had a stamp made that said Monsta.
So sometimes I tell poop stories
Okay.
and draw naked ladies.
Okay.
Sometimes I draw children's books. When I draw children's books, my name is John Cardinal.
When you tell poop stories,
my name is Monsta. Fair.
Yeah.
If you want to see the nice things that I do,
Don't Google
you
Monsta.
can use my government name. If you want to see everything else, that's why Monsta's there. So there's a duality and a schizophrenia to the artwork that
there
I
are
do.
2 Facebook pages, and I never know.
There
which
are
one
2
to
Facebook pages,
send
which
shit to.
no, I'll tell you that real quick. It's, when I started doing children's books, I did want to keep it separate, and then I was friending a bunch of people in that community,
Yeah.
and I was like, they don't need to see my family and all my other shit.
Right.
And I was like, I'll just keep it separate. Then one day, somebody who was already my friend must have got the, you also know this guy. And they were like, that asshole unfriended me. So then they friended me, and then everybody else was like, you might also know this guy. And like, so then people started friending me on that. And then people that that are not friends with me on my proper Facebook started friending me on there. And then I'm like, I don't even know what to do now. I don't even post on that Facebook.
Yeah.
It's literally just for like 3 groups that I'm in. But sometimes I'll log in, there'll be messages from people, and I'll be like, damn, dude, I hadn't logged in this for 2 months. I was like, you should have.
People be like, why is John being such a jerk not getting back to me? He's on the list.
Yeah. So I was like, damn, but I'm like, I wish there was a way to merge the Facebooks. So I could be like, because I want to know who I'm friends with on one that I'm not friends with on the other,
right.
and just merge them, and that would be great. But that's not how shit works. So, but to tell you the real, so then I do have a split personality, or a split I don't have a split personality, but I do work in 2 different veins.
Right.
So I separate those 2 things. So if I do things that I think are PG or G rated, or, in that realm where kids might do it, that's under my real name, and those are the things I put out there,
Is there a johncardinal.com?
I can't get that.
Really?
I want that.
Yeah.
But,
And I believe there is Monstaville.
Monsterville.com is where Monsta lives.
Yeah.
So that's where you can go. You can see both.
You can see
Some of
poop
my
stories.
things are poop stories.
Just pictures of naked ladies.
There's hardly that, but I do have one gallery that's called Kid Friendly that all my children's books are on. And you can see some of that work and then my other work. Because I've done work in all different realms. I did editorial illustrations, I've done work for adult magazines, I've done nude stuff. So there's, I've done, even things with bad words. That's not stuff that kids need to see.
Right.
But I don't want to, I find it hard. I don't want to limit myself because I do children's books. I don't want that to be the only thing I can do.
But you're trying to be responsible and keep it separate.
But I am. So I kind of came to this idea that I would use my nickname or my online moniker, because when everybody got online in 1955, they started using their whole nicknames and shit like that. So my nickname, when I got my nickname, was in college.
Yeah.
And there's like 2 of my friends who have 2 completely different stories, which I both believe are both bullshit. But I know that we did watch an episode of X-Files where that one guy's name was Paco Ordonez, the little monster.
Okay.
They thought that was funny. They called me Paco Ordonez for a while.
It just became
2 different rival stories at one point. It's basically, at the end, they ended up calling me Monster. I didn't mind it. I thought it was a good nickname.
Yeah.
You can't give yourself a nickname. If someone's going to give you a nickname like Monster, I thought that was fine.
right.
So when I got online, I started using Monster as my name. Like Monster.com, everybody had that for
Right.
for buying, getting jobs. You couldn't get into URLs like that, so I wanted to email, I got Monsterville.
Well, it's Monsta. With an
Monster
A,
with
not
an
an
A,
E-R.
which I kind of did for
Like it doesn't
New
sound
England.
the same.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was like a New England-y thing, without an R. So
Yeah.
I did Monsta. So that's been my nickname since 96, 97. So when I got my online I did everything on the Monsta. And even I did the comics forum, I did everything on the Monsta. So there's a lot of people who have seen my work online that's all signed Monsta because that was my online nickname.
Right.
But all of those, so that's the other reason. So I had all these people who knew me by that, who don't know who the fuck John Cardinal is.
Right.
So now that everything's kind of coming full circle, and now that like forums kind of going away, and everybody's on Facebook, like people know who the hell I am. But still, I went to New York Comic Con, and I was with a bunch of people, and they're like, "Oh, who are you?" And I was like, "John." And they're like, "I was like Monsta." And they're like, "Oh, like, nice to meet you." Like, I know who you are. Like, we've been talking online and shit like that. And I'm like, "Well, that's the only way they know me." So,
Right.
You know, and that was Inebri-Art and all these places where I was under that name. So I kept that name, but I just decided that if I do anything that's above a PG rating, it's going to be Monsta. And I'll sign it Monsta, that's where it's going to live. And that way, if I do work that would offend somebody, or it will be under that, it won't be under my name. So if you Google my name, you probably won't get that. But if you do Monstaville, you will get, or Monsta, you'll get a ton of shit that is in a different realm. That's a long-winded thing.
That is a very long-winded
And
short
nobody
story.
ejaculated at the end of that story.
They
Speak
know.
for yourself. So, I feel like that's a good note to end on. I want to thank John for coming on. It's been a long time coming. Gotta get you back again soon.
Keep making these coming jokes.
Thanks, Jess, for sitting in and answering our alcohol questions.
Thank you for helping me out with the tax.
And for our listeners, make sure you follow us on. Follow us on Inebri-Art. Follow us on Twitter @Inebri-Art. Check us out on Facebook. Go to Inebri-Art.com. Like us, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Have a Merry Christmas, fuck Boxing Day. And
You can see the rest of what I do.
Happy New Year.
Monstaville.com
Monstaville.com. Check out John's stuff.
and triptychpress.com.
Yes, and the guys at Triptych Press, Andy Gould, Mike Crockett, they do great work there. And I look forward to seeing what other books they have coming out. And if you happen to be in Plymouth, check out Life Drawing the first Monday of every month, unless it's a holiday. Then we go the second Monday at the New World Tavern. $8. Bring your drawing supplies. And that's pretty much it.
All right.
Cool.
Okay.